You are now listening to
Likely to Dispute,
hosted by Monkas, Reed, and Tyler. How's everybody doing? It's Cevan. Joined with me today, as always, is Reed and Tyler, and this is episode 25 of Likely to Dispute.
We just wrapped up year 2 of the Guillotine League draft, a league that I had a surprising amount of fun in last year. I know Cevan did as well. Tyler was more tilted than anything, but I believe he enjoyed the process, looking to get past week 1 this year. So we wanted to put together a quick pod here, talk a little bit about the draft, talk a little bit about our thought process, anything that happened during the draft that we thought was good, bad, sniped, whatever. And then we're going to go through a couple of the teams we really like and a couple of the teams that we maybe aren't as big of a fan of. Maybe with teams we think are contenders to get chopped in week 1. So we're going to start here. Cevan or Tyler, do either of you guys really want to go first, just talking a little bit through on your thought process throughout the draft today?
I can go first here, considering I got eliminated week 1 last year. So I approached this draft just a little bit differently. I tried to draft a bit safer, although I feel like I'm a fairly safe drafter, or at least that's what you guys tell me. But I hit every position in the first 4 picks. I was really surprised that Davante Adams fell as far as he did. I know Ian had mentioned it in the chat, but overall I was pretty happy with my draft. I didn't get overly sniped anywhere, and I feel like I have a well-rounded team on my end. It's fairly old with names like Nick Chubb, Keenan Allen, Pat Mahomes, Davante Adams, but those guys are still scoring points, and I think it'll be enough points to at least keep me safe in week 1. I don't think I'll be the highest scorer, but I'm certainly hoping I'm not the lowest.
Hopefully that doesn't get clipped here 5 days from now when you say, I don't think I'll be out week 1, because that would be tragic. I would feel for you. I would feel for you. Cevan,
Yeah.
thoughts on your draft or thoughts on Tyler's draft, if you had anything, or on your own here?
Yeah, I like Tyler's team. Yeah, he's got a bunch of high upside guys. You can see a path for pretty much everybody, but I mean these last couple rounds in an 18-team league, you're just shooting from the hip. So
I'm a big fan of the Theo Johnson pick. Last round, Theo Johnson is a fantastic selection to me. He's probably not going to be on your team pass this week, but I love the pick. I'm a Theo guy. Sorry, Cevan, walk us through your thought process quickly.
Yeah, for me, I was kind of skimming through matchups plus upside in the early part of the season. So, I mean, in my first 5 picks, I've got 4 really good matchups. I mean, we're talking Jags defense, we're talking Panthers defense, things like that. And then, Worthy being my wide receiver 2 as the Chiefs wide receiver 1, I thought was great. Same thing with Trevor Lawrence. You guys know I'm not very in on Trevor, but can't deny that he's playing the Panthers defense, following that up with the Bengals defense. So should be 2 high scoring matchups. Got the stack with BTJ. Then late, just a couple rookie wide receiver dart throws, and then snag a second tight end, red zone threat, Cole Kmet at the end, hoping for a touchdown. But I like my team overall. What are your guys' thoughts?
Do you want to take it, or you want me to go here?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like we've agreed with this on most league formats, that if you don't get one of the top 4 elite guys, meaning Josh Allen, Lamar, Jalen Hurts, or Jaden Daniels, that oftentimes it becomes a better strategy to wait. And I think you executed that effectively, getting Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, on every other league format other than this one, you really don't care even a little bit about their week 1 matchup. You're drafting the player for the season, but in this case, that week 1 matchup is everything to you at this moment. So getting some good matchups there from your quarterbacks while drafting them late is probably the best route to go without getting an elite guy. So yeah, overall, I'm a fan. I think you'd be hard pressed to get out week 1. You'd need some stuff to go pretty wrong here.
I'm not quite as easy to say that. I think Savant's team's a little scary for me because 5 of his 12 picks were rookies, and rookies can be great, and there's plenty of rookies who are league winners every year, but sometimes these rookies take a little bit of time to get worked into the offense. They might not produce right away. Brian Thomas had a decent week 1 last year 14, 15 points, something like that. Bucky had 9 points. And so with Tedero, McMillan, Warren, Woody Marks, Kyle Williams, Pat Bryant, that's just too many rookies for me in a best ball format. I kind of worry about, if I feel like that's a lot of weight on Worthy and Brian Thomas' shoulders. And so I don't know. All the rookies on Cevan's team week one is pretty scary to me. So I'm a
Well,
little bit less hesitant or more hesitant to say he would be hard pressed to be out week one.
Well, sorry. Let me amend my statement because I think you made some good points there. I feel like his starting lineup is solid. I think his bench gets scary outside of the quarterback position. Because like he said, you're really banking on Komet to catch a touchdown. You don't know what you're going to get for rookies. And Cevan is anything. He is risky with his picks. He likes the mystery box, and this is the one format where that may not be the move. But until he's proven otherwise, I like his trio of receivers. I think are very, very good. His quarterbacks are solid options for week one. So
Mhm.
there are some other teams that I feel like probably have to be a little more scared. But when it comes down to 1 week and 18 teams and a best ball, like literally anything can happen. The best team might get out in week one. Like just crazy things have happened. So
The one thing I'll comment on that is having just specifically on Tet himself. I mean, I guess you can look at him. Yeah, he was the third receiver I drafted, so that takes the pressure off it for me is not having to rely on him as a one or a two, and then you throw in that they're playing the Jags in week one. Um, I think it weighs out, but I hear your point. I'm also not worried about Tyler Warren at all. He's old.
I'm just
he's
thinking,
old. Okay.
yeah, let's just move on. I could tell Savan why I don't like his team for hours.
Oh boy, that'd be a long pod. For me, I had a pretty straightforward draft. I have two players on my team that I have in any of my other leagues. Everybody else on my team is completely fresh. So for me, Saquon's like my first share ever. I was tilting in around two because I wanted Hurts, Daniels, or Kamara, and they went in the 5 picks before me. So I should have taken my fifth share of Kenneth Walker, but instead I tilted and took James Cook. That was dumb. Um, but either way, I feel like same way, like I waited till round 7 to take a quarterback and then doubled up on my seventh and eighth rounders. And I feel like I got really good value there. My running backs, after taking two in the first 2 rounds, I think like I got two good late dart throws for some ambiguous backfields at the moment with Sampson and Rodriguez. And then I feel like Gesicki is almost an underrated fantasy guy at this point. Like again, everybody knows about the big names in the Bengals offense, but there's also going to be other guys who catch touchdowns and catch passes, and Gesicki's had some big weeks. So I was really happy to be able to snag him in the 11th as my backup tight end to Njoku, who hopefully against the Bengals in week one, they end up having to score a lot of points and throw the ball a lot and rekindle that Flacco connection. So yeah, I was pretty happy with my draft. A lot of guys I don't usually get in other leagues, so I was happy knowing that this is a league that could switch up pretty quickly on the waiver wire to kind of get my hands on some other players that I haven't had in other leagues yet. So
Yeah, for for me on your team, running back room's pretty ideal, I would think, for a league like this. Tight end, quarterback, great. The the receivers is where it's super scary. We're talking about Jennings, who might not play week
no,
one.
he's playing. He's back a full
Okay,
participant at practice.
okay, cool.
I don't
Tyreek,
want to hear any
who
Jennings slander.
Tyreek, who got his captain patch stripped, and then you have Calvin Ridley and Alec on the same team, one being a rookie and one going against Pat Surtain. So the receiver room is pretty sketchy to me, but hopefully the parts around it should be able to keep you safe for 1 week.
Which, if any of you guys are in any other leagues with me, the receiver room is almost always my top room. So I decided to mix up the strategy here, something I don't usually do.
Yeah, and draft a bunch of shitters.
I know. I have an eye for talent there, but people kept sniping me. I'm just kidding. Tyler, any last thoughts here on my team? The
There's a
highest
love.
projected team week one team, by the way.
Your draft was kind of love hate for me. I loved like some of the picks. I hated the rest of them.
Oh wow.
Tyreek, Tyreek hated that pick. Same with James Cook there. Juwan Jennings, yeah, I just because he practiced in full one day, I would hold your horses there to say he's a surefire bet for week one.
To play
Uh,
or to be good?
Either.
yes,
Okay, he's a surefire bet to play. I will agree he's not a surefire bet to be
I
like full go in week one.
in that spot I would would have rather taken someone who I feel like is a little bit safer in like Keon Coleman or Michael
You
Pittman.
think you think Keon Coleman is safer? What are you talking? He's like the opposite of safe. If you want to argue for Josh Downs, go for it. I probably should have, but
Cevan, you
Keon
with
Coleman was
me?
like the worst person you could have pulled there.
To Tyler's point, for if we're looking at week one, Juwan Jennings hasn't practiced in, he hasn't played football in a month. Keon Coleman's been getting hype all off
Oh
season,
my
all
God.
camp. If we're talking about safe for 1 week, yeah, I'm on Keon's side
You're
as well.
taking the guy who has had hype over the guy who had 975 yards last year in 14 games.
Over the guy who had a fifth year breakout and who's been hurt for the last 2 months, yes.
He has not been hurt. He has wanted a new contract for the last 2 months. Everybody knows that now.
Well, j just like Micah Parsons wasn't hurt until now he needs an epidural after he got his new contract, right?
I don't know about Michael Parsons' epidural status.
You guys can
No,
continue to hate on
yeah.
Juwan Jennings, but everything you're saying is ridiculous right now.
This is too much time on Juwan Jennings.
Well,
I
welcome to the Likely to Dispute pod. We're likely to dispute about Juwan Jennings.
Well, Tyler hates your team, so
I know he
no,
hates
only
teams that
some of
have
the
high
players.
upside.
he
You
listed
just
half
listed
the
off like three
players.
quarters of my team that you hated.
I didn't list off three
You
quarters.
hated my second, third, and sixth round picks.
Yes.
That's three of my top six picks. That's three of the core of my
Okay.
team.
I mean, you had other bench spots too, but sure.
I did want Devontae Adams. I don't know why he kept falling either. So I knew it felt like somebody had to take him before me, but I did want him in my fourth rounder to end his
Yeah.
fall, but you were able to do that for me. Okay.
Yes.
Off of my team, we're gonna start here. We're just going to very briefly, even more brief than we just gave. We're gonna talk about some of our favorite teams and some of our least favorite teams. So we're gonna start, Savon, with you. Give us one of the teams that you really liked to start. Do you think they'd had a great draft?
I'm just gonna
Not necessarily
get
your number one favorite, but just one of them.
yeah, I got three listed. I'm just gonna go I'm just gonna
Just go
get
one.
on.
Just go one at a time.
Yep, I'm just gonna get on it. Ian, I liked his team. He's got a great duo at receiver, in my opinion. Puka and Pickens, and then running back super deep for a league like this. Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, two guaranteed RB1s, and then Travis, who I mean, we're still waiting to see, but as your three, that's great. And then, you know, elite quarterbacks, Dak Prescott, Justin Fields for fantasy. It's great. And then two dart throws at the end with tight end. Either one could hit on either week with Chigakonkwo and uh, Brenton Strange. So I think it's just super well rounded, not a hole anywhere in my opinion. Yeah.
I also had Ian written down on mine for a lot of the same reasons. Uh, just as we talked about with the quarterbacks, not taking an elite quarterback and then somehow matching up Dak and Justin Fields feels like such a great room for investing very little relative to the rest of, or some other teams relative to them. Investing that little capital and getting that kind of room, I think, is really strong. In a league where you're searching for floor, getting a big quarterback week is really important, and getting those two guys, I feel like, provides him a lot of chance to do that. Tyler, did you have Ian written down, Mr. Slurp
No,
King?
no, so you can't make fun of me. I
Oh
actually
God.
did not.
Okay, well, give us one of your teams now.
I wrote down 69 Sammy 69. I liked his team because I mean a lot of I feel like we'll like a lot of these teams for the same reasons in that we feel like they are well rounded. He's another one who didn't draft a quarterback till later. He took Goff in the later part of the eighth round. His wide receivers are pretty solid, and JSN, Jerry Judy, Pearsall, and Shaheed being on the depth or on the bench. Shaheed's a great best ball piece. We've seen Shaheed have some pretty explosive games, so he could be a diamond in the rough for him. Pretty well-rounded team overall. One of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I did not write him down, but he was in my honorable mentions. I considered it. I feel like you mentioned, like the receiving core that he has between JSN, Judy, Pearsall, Shaheed, like that's really, really strong for, again, not investing only one in his top three rounds into a receiver. I feel like is really strong. If I were him, I wouldn't have taken Genty there. I would have taken, if you want to go running back, Jacobs, but I can't complain too much about it. But yeah, another team where the late quarterback seems like puts him in a good spot,
Yeah.
although he didn't get a second one. And we're all big Tucker Craft fans on the pod now. So he was an honorable mention for me. Not in my top three, but is someone that I liked a lot. Savon?
I think he has sorry, I undersold this too. I think there's an argument for best running back duo in Genty and Breece Hall. Not saying
Hmm.
it's a foregone thing, but maybe an argument.
Yeah.
Y-
Although I will say that Ayuk pick, not going to be active to start the year. If I were
That's
him,
true.
I'm sure he's probably not going to be on his roster. I don't know if that was an auto draft or not, but I feel like at this point in the league, you really cannot bet on guys who you know aren't going to be in week one.
Yeah.
So, Savon, did you have 69, Sammy 69 on the list or no?
I didn't have him on either side or on either list, but just a quick thought. I agree. Brandon Ayuk, I wouldn't have taken there. Would have probably, tried to get another quarterback or tight end just so you're not locked into one guy necessarily. I agree with you. We're all in on Tucker Craft, but everybody has a dud week except for, Gibbs and Barkley last year. But um, yeah, it's a solid team. Uh, that's all.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give one of mine. I'm going to give the flowers to the champ here. I did like BlakeWeber's draft. Going the early quarterback with Lamar, as we talked about, you either probably got to go really early or really late. Pollard is a perfect like week one guillotine guy. Him and Monty both provide a really high floor with the touches they're going to get. For not investing much in the receiver core, I thought Debo and Diggs were both a solid duo to start the his core, and then he ended up following that up with Bateman and Leggett, who I'm not a huge fan of. But overall, I love the Slayton pick late. Damian Pierce is a great get late. So I thought he did a great job of starting Bowers, Lamar, and then not taking any more and just saying, I'm going to fortify everything else. So, like I said, I'll give some flowers to the champion. I think he had a good draft at the back. The pick 18, making the best of what he had.
Yeah, I had him written down as well for the same reasons you just mentioned, Reed, the way he handled that draft and understanding that he didn't need to reach for receivers, where at that 3 and 4 spot when he took his running backs and that he just stacked the depth later in the draft. I think that's a pretty formidable strategy.
Mm-hmm. Savon, did you have Blake Weber on yours?
I didn't have him on either list. Quick thoughts. I think if you get guys like Lamar and Brock, you don't need to
Mm-hmm.
get a second one. I just maybe a couple different shots like on a running back. I mean, you can only start three receivers. You got six of them, but only three running backs. I maybe would have taken away the Leggett pick and done a different
You're
running
just a
back.
hater.
Well, it's the truth.
Okay.
But yeah, probably would have just taken away the Leggett pick and drafted a different running back like Tank or Tootin or Ollie Gordon, um, just to have some more uh,
Um,
variance.
Sorry, going back to Ian real quick. Garendo pick, bad pick. The 49ers don't like him for some reason. Bad last round pick, but I
And
wanted
he's
to get
hurt.
that in there. Okay. Savon, another team you liked in the draft?
Yeah, we're gonna go over to my boy Detective Derek. Um, He walked away with Jane Daniels in the back half of the second round. It's a great pick. Followed it up with the stack with Terry. Like the value there. Obviously, he's got a lead guy with Henry. The only thing I will say that I not the biggest fan of is uh, while I like the Eckler pick, I don't like it with the fit with all the other commanders. It just feels like it's got a lot going on. Outside of that, I think he got some good dart throws. Quentin Johnson late that last round. That's a great best ball type pick. It's a week here and there. He just catches two touchdowns. Addison really bad pick as well. Um, but yeah, it sounds like I don't like this team very much.
Yeah, I was gonna say your description didn't sound super positive there for a team you put as one of your favorite drafts. Tyler,
I I
what do
I
you think
do
on Derek?
I do like his team for the most part. I didn't have it written down, but it was an honorable mention for me. He and I had pretty similar drafts that through 5 rounds we each had one running back, so I was really nervous he was gonna snipe me or I knew I might snipe him. trying to fill our second RB spot. So that's um, I don't think that actually happened though, but I like that he didn't um, try to force fill that running back spot at maybe the four spot, like taking Devontae Smith over Tyrone Tracy. I just feel like there's such a discrepancy in where the wide receiver talent was at that point in the draft versus where the running back talent was, and instead of continue to, scrape the bottom of the floor for running backs, he took someone who's a mid-tier wide receiver too in Devontae Smith. So overall, I like his team. I'm sneakily interested to see if Ingram Pitts works out in, possibly one of them starts in his flex. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I did not have him down, and I feel pretty confident why I feel like that. I feel like he made a couple of big mistakes. The first one, as we kind of talked about with BlakeWeber just now, you get an elite quarterback. It's probably not worth using another pick on a quarterback. So using that eighth round pick on Penix, when at that point he has a really good running back in Derrick Henry and a solid guy in Eckler, but maybe not someone that you want to rely on. And then after that, all he has is one handcuff in Ray Davis, who at that point, like, you really have no idea if you're going to get anything more than like 3 or 4 touches from him. So for me, and then the Pitts selection as well. I feel like after taking Engram, he probably didn't need to take another tight end that soon. And that was really kind of the last stretch of productive receivers after that. So for me, I think he made a couple of blunders in the 7, 8 rounds, but overall, I think it's a solid team, but was not someone that I put at the top of my list.
Yeah.
Tyler, what another team you liked?
Yeah. The last one I had written down was SirCycloneMike, Mr. 1-1 himself. I mean, I think we've talked about his team a little bit, but just the starting pieces, there's not really a hole as far as an 18 league team or 18 team league goes. So I like his team overall. I didn't love some of his depth picks, but that's just personal preference at that point. I think I would have preferred someone like Cam Ward over Tua, but again, that's picking hairs, splitting hairs in the ninth
Picking
round there.
hairs.
Picking hairs, pulling them out. Uh, but yes, I mean we just talked about Keon Coleman. That's who Mike drafted at 7-1 there after you drafted Jawan Jennings at 6-14. So yeah, I'm in on Sir Cyclone Mike's team this year. Should be pretty good.
I had him as probably my number one draft in the whole league. Obviously, 1-1 is an obvious pick. His duo of running backs are elite at the 2-3. I think Kelsey is a great Guillotine League pick, especially while Rasheed is out. That kind of opens the door back up for him to get a lot more work in the need for him. Olave Downs are two great supplementary pieces then for Jamar Chase. Not a huge fan of the Coleman pick, but from a depth role, solid. And then for me, was the perfect pick at that spot. And then again, like you said, kind of splitting hairs on who that second quarterback was, because I feel like there was definitely a teardrop after Love, but absolutely nailed the first like 9 rounds. And then, some supplementary pieces at the bottom. But overall, I did have him as probably my favorite draft in the whole league. Probably better than my own, if I had to say. So a little bit of glaze there, but I thought he killed it at the number one spot. Cevan, any thoughts
Yeah,
there?
yeah, solid team. You guys covered it all. I agree with what Tyler was saying about Tua. Personally, you're right with Cam Ward. I would even include Bryce Young, Gino, in that list that I would take over him. But if that's my only gripe, if you look at where you got Justice Hill at the 10-11 turn, you could argue that was the best remaining running back because he's still going to have some, 2-minute drill pass catching work. So
Hmm.
that's a perfectly fine pick there.
Did you
I'm
have any?
not really,
Oh, sorry.
what's that? No, that's all.
Did you have any other teams that we've talked about all three of the teams I had in my best section. Did you have any other teams, Savon?
Yeah, the last one I had was Cam Thorn. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
I already hate his team.
oh, well, he's got Amon Ra, Marvin, Cooper Cup, Christian Kirk, and even D Hop. I think for a best ball league like this, that's a uh, pretty high ceiling, whatever one more than a quartet is of receivers.
Quintet.
And then quintet, okay, cool. We already talked about it off the pod, but don't really like the tight end group. You need touchdown from Goddard. Jatavion is intriguing. I like where he got him in the 11th round, so a cool guy to pair with for that. And then the running back room, he's got one handcuff with Algier, but I like the floor and ceiling with his 1-2 punch with A-Chain having an extremely high ceiling, and then Aaron Jones still being pretty dominant as far as his first year with the Vikings last year, and then um, going into this year. So
Hmm.
uh, I thought the team was pretty solid. Rushing upside quarterback with Kyler plays New Orleans week 1 and then Carolina week 2. So pretty good matchups as far as
Yeah.
playing the quarterbacks.
Yeah, for me, he would be closer to the bottom for me personally. I'm not a fan of the Marv pick, not a fan of the Aaron Jones pick, not a fan of the Cooper Kupp pick, not a fan of the Goddard pick. And then you look at his running back room after his top two guys, like you said, you're looking at, he's not a pure handcuff. He still gets some run, but essentially not looking at someone who's going to push to get starter points, even in that flex spot. So kind of the same thing we talked about with Derek, where he has two really good running backs, but nobody else really to potentially support. God forbid one of them. I mean, A-Chain already has a calf injury. Uh, Aaron Jones misses time just about every year. Like something happens, his running back room is going to be in trouble. And then I just didn't like a lot of the receivers that he took. So not near the top for me, but we also have some difference in opinion on some of the players that he picked.
Yes.
Tyler, any other thoughts? Are we good to go to the worst teams? Sorry, least favorite teams.
I'm in the middle of you guys, probably a little bit closer to Cevan.
Okay. Well, Tyler, we're going to start off with you. This is
Oh man.
there's no personal attacks here, everybody. We're just talking about this for fun. We don't know anything more than you guys do. We're just talking about the drafts that what we see, teams that we think probably have in the biggest threat to be out in week 1. So Tyler, give us one of those teams for you.
Yeah, I don't know if he was busy or not. It's fine if he was, but for me, it's Deshaun, Rashi Rice in the 5th round. And there's still
Auto
plenty of talent,
draft.
auto draft, plenty of players on the board that hurts. I'm not big into Loveland early in the season, so I just think this team is already in a good amount of danger for week 1.
Yeah, I had him written down on mine as well. Jaden Blue currently slotted in as his RB2 slot with Tootin and Giddens on the bench. Not sure who's really, again, we're talking purely about week 1 here. Who don't know who's going to be able to step up in week 1. Rice is a guaranteed 0. Daniel Jones is hot ass cheeks. Everybody knows that. And then at that point, you're relying on Wandale and your flex. So yeah, I got some serious questions. We'll see if Rasheed stays on his bench or if he's going to make a move to get him off. But either way, having auto draft take Rasheed in the 5th is really tough for me. So he was also on my list. Savon, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, he's got some guys that can carry, in my opinion, with having, 2 or 3 picks auto drafted with, London, Brown, and Metcalf. But yeah, the running back room's very sketchy. And then no tight ends after Loveland when we don't know how the, Chicago passing group is going to work out. So
Yeah.
pretty
Uh,
sketchy.
and it's tough because I loved his first 2 rounds. Swirly taking London, Chase Brown is like an awesome first 2 rounds in my opinion, and then it just kind of went downhill after that for me. If I can go next, I just
Yeah.
received a text from somebody who I'm going to name. At 9:53 p.m., Camden K texted me, "My guillotine team stinks." And you know what, man? I agree with you. Your team sucks.
Oh,
Uh, I only say that because he's my friend, so I'm going to see him tomorrow. But yeah, I was struggling to see the vision here with Cam K. He's someone that is projected for very few points, which again does not guide your opinion, but is a data point to consider. Uh, Overall, just took a lot of guys that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm noted for not being a big Laporta guy. Caleb Johnson, RB3 for the Steelers on the depth chart. Not sure. Again, we're talking purely about week 1. How much are we getting from him? Braylon Allen, Trey Benson could be handcuffs, could be 1Bs, but again, who knows in week 1? Like, there's just a lot of question marks on his team past like literally round 4 was the last pick where I can confidently say like this guy is going to be a contributor in week 1. And that other than Darnold. And that scares me for a team like his. So uh, I like the Allen pick early. AJ Brown's a stud, but really question the rest of the draft here. Any thoughts from you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead,
Sorry,
Sven.
real quick. For me, when I saw Pacheco get drafted, it was immediately a
Oh
stinker,
my God, what is your
and
deal?
that is all.
Okay, ignore that. Tyler, any thoughts on Cam
I was
K?
just gonna say you kind of brought my attention to it. I didn't realize that until like the question marks after round four until you brought them up.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I didn't necessarily have him as I didn't rank them, but he was an easy one for me to put in my bottom three here. I think he might have been tilting on some of his picks, but we'll see. I'll talk to him tomorrow and get back to everybody in the comments.
mhm.
Savan, what's one of the teams you had here?
Yeah, for me it was Lucas. Really, it's just him not being able to get points from one, two, three, four players in Quinshawn, essentially Amari Cooper, Jackson Dart, and Jalen Coker. I would expect, four drops uh, by Sunday to add more players that can score. That really does it for me. When you're really only stuck with eight eight rounds out of the 12 for players to score points. Just did a really, really, really terrible job.
Oh boy, okay. Going hard at the newbie. But at the same time, I do think he makes some solid points, as much as I hate to admit it. When Savan makes a good point, he did. This is not a league where you can have at this point in the league have four dead spots on your bench and feel confident about your chances. So at the very least, he's already losing four of the precious $5 that you get in this league. So I mean, I guess you have 1,000. But either way, I agree that I'm he was on the bottom of my list, and I have nothing more to add here.
Running
Tyler.
back. I was just say the Patriots running back three in the third round.
All
Oh
right.
no,
Listed as
just
RB3 on
kidding.
the depth chart.
Tyler, another team for you. Did you have anybody else written down here?
Yeah, I'll just briefly say Woods was someone I had written down, mostly just because I'm not a fan of picks 6 through 10, which is Khalil Shakir, Brian Robinson, Zach Ertz, Hollywood Brown, Aaron Rodgers. That's just me, not personal, but that was the one I had written down.
Shakir feels like a perfect Guillotine League pick. He's going to get you 10 or 12 points every week, but
That's
is that
probably
going to
true.
win you a
Okay,
week?
I'll say
I don't
seven
know.
through 10 then.
If the rest of your team can't have spike weeks, just as having Shakir in any league, if the rest of your team can't have spike weeks, then you're going to be in trouble no matter what. But he provides a safe floor at least for one of your receiver spots, you'd assume. But I
Yep.
agree with the rest of your statements. Savan,
Nothing from me on Woods, but
okay. Any other teams?
yeah, I'll quickly go over them. I had my boy Trent in here. I'm sorry to say it, but really starts in round three, taking Hawkinson. If you're gonna go tight end that early, I would prefer it to be, one of the bigger name ones. Um, Hawkinson's fine. It's just not where you got him. And then really after that, I mean, Luther in the middle. Uh, I think he's a great best ball asset. It's just I don't even know if that's where he was supposed to go, but that's just not a price I'm in on. And then names like Thielen, Dowdle, who's a direct handcuff. Uh,
He took your boy
yeah,
Waller though.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine for where it was. But then, yeah, I don't know.
I did not consider Trent. I thought he had a solid draft. I agree with your points. Like Hawkinson wouldn't have been my pick, but I thought Jerome Ford was a great get. I thought Thielen's a great get. I thought Marvin Mims was a great best ball guy.
You thought Thielen was a great get?
I don't see any reason he won't have a role in Minnesota to start the year. I mean, again, you're looking at 3 games with Addison out. He has notoriously been great at earning targets in whatever offense he's in, and now should be in a good offense. So I don't. Again, we're talking about the eighth round here, where he was sandwiched receiver wise between Christian Kirk and Trey Harris. So I'm not talking about a stud here, but I thought for that point in the draft, that was good value to me.
Yeah.
And then, did you have any other? Sorry, Tyler, did you have any thoughts on Trent's team here before we wrap up?
Nope.
Savan, did you have any other teams, or was Trent your last one?
The last one for me was Grant. Now he's got a great wide receiver duo with Jefferson Wilson. He's got Joe Burrow, and then it's really just the running back room. Relying on a rookie in Denver that's listed as the RB2, a seventh round rookie who's listed as the RB4 in Bill, direct handcuff to A Chain, also a sixth round rookie in Ollie Gordon, and then I think his best running back arguably is Rashad White in the ninth, which was a great pick. But then tight end likely is not going to play. Jonnu Smith is kind of whatever. It's got a ill taste in our mouth from the trade. And then Godwin's also not going to play. So
Hmm.
just a lot of guys with either they're not going to play or weird roles that we're not going to know, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts. He was someone I considered, but ultimately did not put in my bottom three. But very worthy points there that I agree with all around. Tyler,
Middle of the pack for me.
good. Okay. Any last thoughts here before we wrap up the pod here? Short one. Wanted to get a fun one out there for the guillotine. Any other thoughts here before we wrap up?
I'm good.
Yeah, just don't get last, boys, and or don't get out first. It won't be me. So, and it won't be Tyler. It could be Reed though.
Could be me. 104 projected points, and you're calling me out.
We'll see.
Come on, man. Okay. Shortest pod in history. We appreciate you guys listening, and we will see you next time.